Hi everyone, Goothany Gootano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard record, PetroDragonic Apocalypse. This is the newest full-length album from Australian rock chameleons King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, their 24th, I believe. The band is as prolific as ever, fresh off of dropping 3 full-length records last October, and the band still somehow sounds refreshing and adventurous every single time they come through with something new. Whether it was the very dancey and playful changes, the jammy, long, and multi-phased laminated denim, or the conceptual ice, death, planets, lungs, mushrooms, and lava. But this time around, on their latest effort here, King Gizzard is heading back into some familiar territory. The band is typically known for their fusions of psychedelic rock, garage, and maybe a touch of punk, but there is one record in their discography that is more of a high-concept thrash metal sci-fi epic about the end of the world, Infest the Rat's Nest, and PetroDragonic over here is very much bringing similar vibes. Just from the title of the album and the album cover alone, it's pretty clear that the band is once again focused on the idea of an environmental catastrophe ending the planet, and stylistically, of course, King Gizzard is heading back into the metal realm. But you would be mistaken to assume that this is just yet another simple thrash excursion, because with King Gizzard, nothing is ever just that simple. I would say they're dabbling a little bit more in heavy metal and progressive metal aesthetics on this record, with multiple phases, anthemic solos, and odd time signatures flowing throughout these sometimes 8 or 9 minute ragers. This project is also just 7 tracks long, so far from the longest King Gizzard record, but it's still a super satisfying run of songs, especially since the various melodic and narrative themes throughout this LP tie the whole thing together pretty neatly. There's Motor Spirit, which is the opener and a fantastic tone setter, really shows the album's visceral and also meditative range right off the bat, with killer drumming, fuzzy, driving riffs, unhinged guitar solo passages too. It's nothing but high-octane metal mayhem with the blunt force and speed of a Motorhead song. After the first third of this song, though, the track suddenly shifts into this sort of mystical psych metal passage, with lots of exotic hand percussion bits thrown in, eerie background vocal harmonies, and what sounds like some throat singing in the foreground too. I say, watch out, Tool, you're not the only stoner prog psych metal band on the scene now. I know the pieces fit. Similarly, King Gizzard drops these weird hypnotic mantras throughout numerous parts of this record. Motor Spirit. But the way the band applies it, it's kind of ingenious because it plays into the story behind the song, likening humanity's adherence to gas and oil and combustion engines to that of like a religion. It's like a cult worshipping a god. And there are similar themes cropping up on the song Supercell too. But this time the tables have turned, and now extreme weather events are coming around to bite us in the ass for the destruction of the environment. Tornadoes, supercell storms, a lot of violently apocalyptic imagery with some amazing and super snappy group chorus vocals. Supercell! It's just very direct, hard-hitting, as are the next few tracks on the record too. There's Converge with more high-intensity drums and guitars, switching off with the zany but sharp lead melodies that sync up with the vocals and lyrics. Really, I can't get enough of the intense energy and detail the band is putting into this record already. It's got me on the edge of my seat, even when they bring passages like on the end of this track where they once again go into like a meditative mode. There's also Witchcraft, which too features these guitar melodies and vocal melodies singing hand in hand. I would say this song is maybe the most usual sounding King Gizzard cut on the entire record. The guitar work feels way more psych than it does metal. You even get the trademark woo that we've heard on many a fantastic and exciting King Gizzard jam in the past, most notably on great LPs such as Nonagon Infinity. Now, narratively on this track, the storms that were previously mentioned on the past couple of cuts are just destroying everything, but now the narrator of the track is calling upon witches to like kind of put a stop to the whole thing. But in employing magic, some tragic stuff happens, and we somehow end up with this hilamonster, which the following track on the record is all about. And this song was the lead single to the record, and when I first heard it, I thought by King Gizzard standards, especially with them treading back into metal territory, it was a little basic. But now that I've had the chance to listen to the song within the context of the album, I think it's a really respectable inclusion on the record, especially since the huge group chants on the track are hype as hell. And it does add an epic twist to the climax of this story, where now, rather than storms and witchcraft, we have a giant lizard to deal with, eating the witches. I guess one has to wonder, is what's going on here just literal? Is it metaphorical? Because in a way, the witchcraft can be a representation of our cheap, hubristic corner cutting to try to stop the apocalypse that we created from killing us. Or King Gizzard could just have something against, like, Wiccans, and they just want to see them eaten by a lizard. So narratively on this track thus far, we have that motor spirit thing, which, I mean, in my mind is almost like an old god, and now the Gila monster is a new god, which the progression of that is kind of detailed in the following 9-minute and 45-second Dragon. That combined with the following track, Flamethrower, the closing cut on the record, which is also over 9 minutes. The final moments of this record are pretty ambitious, pretty large scale. Now, narratively, so far on the record, it's important to note just how everything awful on this album is kind of like, you know, a domino effect, an ongoing domino effect into another awful thing. This is like an unhinged environmentalist cautionary tale version of when you give a mouse a cookie. Because now the dragon, you have it drinking motor oil, and as a result of that, it's throwing flames, the world is burning. You hear the motor spirit mantra coming back toward the end of the song with a sort of psychedelic synthy variation thing going on, and it's quite a metamorphosis this record undergoes, sonically and conceptually. Yeah, I loved it. I was really impressed with it. I mean, I think there was a little bit of a one-dimensionality going on in terms of, like, you know, the color and the textures of the instrumentation on this record. I think it could have been a little bit more vibrant instead of as fuzzed out and as distorted as it is sometimes. But still, I was really impressed with what the band brought on this LP, and I think it's pretty much on par with their previous end-of-the-world concept metal album. So I'm feeling a strong 8 to a light 9 on this one. Yeah, King Gizzard, yeah. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, King Gizzard, forever.